There is a word in Japanese that contains within it the entire soul of a warrior class that ruled Japan for nearly 7 centuries. That word is Bushido. Literally translated, it means the way of the warrior. But it was so much more than that. Bushido was not a written constitution. It was not a legal document. As one scholar put it, it was a code unuttered and unwritten, possessing all the more the powerful sanction of veritable deed, and of a law written on the fleshly tablets of the heart. Bushido was the silent, invisible force that guided every decision a samurai made, from how he fought in battle to how he sipped his tea, from his loyalty to his lord to his treatment of his enemies. Over the next 10 minutes, we will explore the 7 core virtues of Bushido, each illuminated by the words of the greatest samurai who ever lived. Warriors like Miyamoto Musashi, Tokugawa Ieyasu, and Yamamoto Tsunetomo. Let us begin our journey along the way of the warrior. Gi, integrity and righteousness. The first virtue of Bushido is Gi, rectitude, or justice. It is the backbone of the warrior. Without it, courage becomes brutality, and loyalty becomes blind obedience. Gi means knowing what is right and doing it, even when no one is watching. Especially when no one is watching. The samurai understood that there is no gray area. As one ancient text states, there is only what is right and what is wrong. This clarity of moral vision separated the samurai from the common mercenary. Yamamoto Tsunetomo, the author of the great samurai text Hagakure, once wrote about the true nature of a warrior's service. He said, and I quote, "If you want to express in a few words the most important thing in a samurai's life, I would say, serve your master with body and soul. If I am asked what else is important for a samurai, I would answer, perfect your mind, be humane, and show courage." Notice the order. The mind first, then humanity, then courage. Because without a righteous mind, courage can lead you down a dark path. Virtue 2, you, courage. The second virtue is you, courage. But not the courage you might think. Bushido does not celebrate the absence of fear. It celebrates the mastery of it. The most famous and most misunderstood line in all of samurai literature comes from Hagakure. It says, "I have found that Bushido means to die." It means that when one has to choose between life and death, one quickly chooses the side of death. To the modern ear, this sounds morbid, obsessive, even foolish. But look deeper. The samurai was not obsessed with death. He was obsessed with freedom from the fear of death. Here is the paradox, as explained by the same text. Being afraid of death attracts it. Fear paralyzes the warrior in battle. It stops him from thinking clearly. But when you accept death, you neutralize its paralyzing effects. You become better at mobilizing your martial skill. And therefore, you increase your chance of survival. By accepting death, you become harder to kill. The warrior monk Yamamoto Tsunetomo described true courage in visceral terms. Listen to these words. "When your sword is broken, you will overcome your enemy with your bare hands. If your hands are cut off, you will pin him to the ground with your shoulders. If your shoulders are cut off, you will bite through the necks of 10 or 15 enemies with your teeth." That is what courage is. This is not about violence. It is about the absolute refusal to surrender, no matter the circumstance. Virtue 3, Jin, compassion. The third virtue is Jin, benevolence or compassion. It may seem contradictory after what we just discussed. But Bushido teaches that the sword that kills is the same sword that protects. A warrior's power must be used for the common good. The code states, intense training makes the samurai quick and strong. He is different from others. He acquires a power that must be used for the common good. He has compassion. He takes every opportunity to be of help to his fellow men, and if the opportunity does not present itself, he goes out of his way to find one. Compassion in Bushido also meant respect for enemies. Another passage says, samurai have no reason to be cruel. They do not need to show their strength. A samurai is also kind to enemies. Without this display of outward respect, a man is little more than an animal. The best fight is the one avoided. True strength does not need to prove itself through cruelty. Virtue 4, rei, respect. The fourth virtue is rei, respect and courtesy. For the samurai, respect was not a social nicety. It was a spiritual practice. Every action, no matter how small, was performed with intentionality. The great unifier of Japan, Tokugawa Ieyasu, left behind practical advice that reflected this value. He said, "It goes without saying that you should arrange your hair early in the morning if you are going out to your work, but this should be done even if you are thinking of staying at home. Discipline in the small things prepares you for the large things." Another piece of advice from the code states, when speaking with someone, always look them in the eyes. It is impolite to lower your gaze or laugh falsely. The samurai understood that how you do anything is how you do everything. A warrior who neglects his appearance, who avoids eye contact, who speaks carelessly, the warrior has already lost half the battle before it begins. In the art of rhetoric, the samurai believed that the main thing is the ability to be silent. Words were weapons. And like a sword, they should only be drawn when necessary. Virtue 5, Makoto, honesty and sincerity. The fifth virtue is Makoto, honesty and sincerity. For the samurai, a word given was a bond stronger than any written contract. The code explains it this way: when a samurai expresses the intention to perform an action, this is practically already completed. Nothing will prevent him from carrying out the expressed intention. He does not need either to give his word or to promise. Talking and acting are the same thing. This is a radical standard. It means that every word you speak creates an obligation. Empty promises were not just rude. They were dishonorable. Miyamoto Musashi, the greatest swordsman in Japanese history, the undefeated master of the two-sword style, lived this principle. In his declining years, he wrote of his spiritual journey. He said, "I have climbed Mountain Iwato of Higo in Kyushu to pay homage to heaven, pray to Kwannon, and kneel before Buddha. I am a warrior of Harima province, Shinmen Musashi no Kami Fujiwara no Genshin, age 60 years. Even at 60, the greatest warrior who ever lived was still seeking truth. Still being honest about his place in the universe. Still a student." Virtue 6, Meo, honor. The sixth virtue is Meo, honor. This is perhaps the most difficult virtue for modern people to understand. Because for the samurai, honor was not about reputation in the eyes of others. It was about reputation in your own eyes. The code states, there is only one judge of the samurai's honor, himself. The decisions you make and the actions that follow are a reflection of who you really are. You cannot hide from yourself. This is the essence of integrity. You are your own witness, always. The samurai warrior Naomasa put it with brutal simplicity. He said, "If a samurai stands before the choice of living or dying, he must choose death. Why? Not because death is good, but because the fear of losing honor is worse than the fear of losing life. When you are no longer afraid to die for your principles, you become truly free." Tokugawa Ieyasu, the founder of the Tokugawa shogunate that ruled Japan for over 250 years, offered a beautiful piece of wisdom on this subject. He said, "Burdens shape a person. A life without weight brings nothing. Honor is the weight you choose to carry. Without it, you float through life, leaving no mark, no legacy, no meaning." Virtue 7, Chugi, loyalty. The seventh and final virtue is Chugi, loyalty and devotion. Loyalty is the virtue that ties all the others together. It is the anchor. The code teaches, for the samurai, performing an action or expressing something is equivalent to becoming its owner. He assumes full responsibility, including for what follows. The samurai is immensely loyal to those he cares for. he remains fiercely loyal to those for whom he is responsible. This loyalty was not blind obedience. It was the natural expression of gratitude and duty. The samurai was acutely aware that he did not live for himself alone. He was part of a chain, a family, a clan, a nation. There is a story from the Hagakure about a warrior named Tsuruya Sozo. After his lord was killed in battle, and all the other boastful warriors fled in fear, Sozo stayed. He faced the enemy army alone. And he said, before charging to his death, "I wonder where all those who boasted of their courage every day are now? I will regain my master's favor." That is loyalty. Not loyalty when it is convenient. Not loyalty when you are winning. But loyalty when it costs you everything. Tokugawa Ieyasu offered practical advice on how to live this loyalty every single day. He said, "If you have some pressing or urgent affair, write it down with a calm state of mind." And the great swordsman Miyamoto Musashi, on his deathbed, offered perhaps the most famous advice of all. Think lightly of yourself and deeply of the world. Conclusion. Bushido is not a religion. It is not a philosophy you can simply adopt by reading a book. It is a way of being. The samurai are gone. Their swords have rusted. Their castles have crumbled. But the virtues remain. Rectitude, courage, compassion, respect, honesty, honor, loyalty. 7 virtues that can guide any warrior in any age. Even you. The way of the warrior is found in death. Choose your principles today. And live as if you have already chosen to die for them. Thank you for watching.